Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic.
If Trump is arrested, how do you think his supporters will react? People don't realize how anticlimactic it will be. Trump and others and making a big show saying the FBI is going to bust down his door at Mar-a-Lago and drag him away in handcuffs. That won't happen. The DA will contact his lawyers to let them know they have issued an arrest warrant and they will schedule a date for Trump to turn himself in. He goes to the police on that, he's fingerprinted, mugshot taken and processed. He'll then be arraigned and released on his own recognizance. All this will be worked out beforehand by his lawyers and the DA. He might fight extradition in Florida and possibly win with the right judge. But then he will be arrested whenever he goes back to NYC, which he has to at some time. Even once he's arraigned, it will take years for the case to go anywhere. Case in point, Ken Paxton has been awaiting trial for years. This is just homemaking noise for his constituents. My understanding is extradition is only to confirm the court has the right person. It's about identity. Not sure any judge will go astray of that rule. Otherwise, you are correct. It will be very underwhelming. Not sure any judge will go astray of that rule. This is Florida we're talking about. Lots of social media posts with excellent punctuation and factual information. And lots of the, in your car screaming at your phone acting tough, genre of TikTok videos. While wearing Oakleys. You can't forget the Oakleys. His mugshot will be the dankest meme of all time. And the height and weight stats as part of the booking process. I hadn't thought of that. I now wait breathlessly. I expect to hear several mentions of Hunter Biden's laptop. It's funny how people will say someone else broke the law, so Trump shouldn't go to jail. It's like you're on trial for murder and your main defense is there are other murderers. I am going to try that the next time I am pulled over for speeding. Yes, but did you know some people shoplift? Quote. Probably surprised. Considering the number of times people claimed he'd be arrested and he wasn't. I'd be surprised too. The walls are closing in. Pretty much every political pundit left of Mitt Romney by this point. Lul. Did you see the segment Jon Stewart did about it on his show The Problem? He had a compilation of common phrases journalists used to talk about the issue, and the walls are closing in was one often repeated. I expect him to let the judicial process play out and hold off on any highly emotional response until the case has concluded and prosecutors have had an opportunity to explain their side of the story. After all, Trump supporters are famous for being calm, well-informed, and level-headed. I didn't think it was satire until I got to let the not sure, but I feel like we'll finally get a true understanding of what the battery life on a rascal scooter is. They are merely the pawns, a distraction for the higher levels on the chessboard. What if one doesn't en passant? This was his plan all along. It's part of 100-dimensional chess. It's also that the other guy can get really arrested. This is probably the most realistic amongst the Q crowd. Add the word cabal and vampires somewhere in there. You misspelled lizard people. There will be bloodshed in the streets. The heavens will open and fire will rain from the sky. Entire civilizations will be destroyed. The world will be plunged into darkness. People will resort to cannibalism. Demons will emerge from the depths of hell and consume our children. Brendan Fraser will get his Oscar revoked. It will be chaos and madness. Human sacrifice. Dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria. Exclamation mark. Quote. Ha 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 ha. Man, I have seen shit that'll turn you white. They will blame everyone except the guilty party. They'll make excuses for why his crimes are not really crimes. They'll point the finger and try to say other people who haven't committed crimes are criminals. They'll attack law enforcement and DAs and demand to defund them. Then they'll claim to be the party of law and order. Wasn't that Nixon's stance? When the president does it, it isn't illegal. They'll whine on social media and wait for Fox to build him a counter-narrative they can run with. They'll blame wokeness and the usual targets. Then they'll claim exoneration when he's released on his own recognizance in a few days. The only interesting question is what DeSantis will do. If he muddies Trump's extradition from Florida, he could get in trouble with the feds. If he lets the Manhattan DA take him, then he risks the wrath of MAGA. Ooh, that will be fun to watch. Pops much corn kissy face popcorn. Yep, this is it. You'll have a bunch of random shouting for 24 hours until Fox News Max tells them the right way to think, and then they'll all parrot that narrative to the limited degree they understand it. Then they'll all parrot that narrative to the limited degree they understand it. They don't need to understand what the noises mean in order to produce them. This is what I'm most curious about too. DeSantis is in a bit of a pickle here. If he lets them take Trump, it kind of invalidates the sovereign kingdom he's trying to build down there. If he doesn't, he still has to deal with Trump next year. I expect he will use Trump as a carrot on a stick to win over the MAGA crowd. Promise he will pardon and do everything in his power to help Trump but never actually do anything. It's interesting. It seems he took the holier-than-thou route. He said that the investigation is a political circus and that he refuses to get involved. In other words, he's telling the feds to come get Trump, but without saying that. I'm certain DeShit knows that if Trump is in jail, the White House is his for the taking. I wouldn't be surprised if he's helping the feds behind the scenes.